Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're jumping back down into the world of Cardano. It's been absolutely flying beyond our expectations. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on with Cardano and what I expect to happen next. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, you know what to do. If you are new to the channel, go ahead, subscribe, tap the bell and you will stay up to date with all the streams of videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And don't forget to join us down in Discord. Link is in the description down below. All right guys, let's get right on into this, right? Cardano paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. As we were talking about yesterday, we're up against this resistance line. Basically, this was between 46.19 and 47.45. I was saying that we were likely to get rejected from this area given that we're oversold and all that kind of good stuff. We did actually see a slight pullback and we hit this low end and we actually turned it into a bit of support, which is fantastic. This previous area of resistance just down here at that 46-cent line. We basically are able to come back down and confirm that now as support and run to the upside. So this actually then met up with our higher expectations. As you'll know from a few videos ago, we're talking about 49.56 to about 56.97. Okay, these are the typical kind of retracement zones that we were expecting given the 5-wave drop that we've already had. So this zone here has now been activated and we're right within that zone right now. So let's go ahead and actually break down what's going on here and whether or not we can get overexcited and maybe start thinking about hitting the upper end of this spectrum before starting to think about any more downside. Okay, it will just worth noting that we are close to overbought on the hourly, we are overbought on the 4-hourly, we're overbought on the 8-hourly, we're overbought on the daily, and our weekly, well, that's probably going to get a bit of a reversal soon and become overbought very soon. So essentially all time frames are overbought, so we're in a very fragile state in terms of momentum. This is pretty much just being fueled on FOMO. 𝗕𝗂𝗪 hard fall can potentially sell the news event further down the line. So we want to be a little bit cautious with it, but let's talk about what's going on here. We were tracking this as a 3-wave structural move to the upside, and we just want to do some sense checks on that. I'm going to take this measurement just here from our low to our high, down to our bounce, and we can see here that we have now gone within the last couple of hours path 1.618. This basically means we're trending up, okay, which is a fantastic thing to say for Cardano. I am super bullish on Cardano long term, but I do think that there's some short-term moves to the downside. So all this kind of move to the upside, although this micro trend going up right now is great, it isn't something I think is going to be around for long term, okay, but I'd love to be wrong on that because I do hold a fair amount of ADA. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this structure then. So basically what I mean by a trend is we're tracking in a 5-wave structure. Basically we come down into wave 1, wave 2. This is all now wave 3. We'll look for some kind of mini correction for a wave 4 and then we'll go up into a final 5th wave. Now, as many of you know, 5-wave structures do not appear in isolation. They do not just happen on their own and they normally are paired up with another 5-wave move at a bare minimum. So when we had this 5-wave structure move to the downside, our expectation is another 5-wave move to the downside at some point, but likewise we said, we've got this 5-wave move going up. Therefore, we are either going to have to invalidate this or have another 5-wave move going up. Now, obviously, we should not push higher than 59.48 because that creates an invalidation of our original 5-wave move and our zigzag potential down towards our 28.34 targets. So nonetheless, we've got a few things here to kind of consider. Let's jump back down into this micro movement. Okay, if we're at the top of wave 3 now and we're looking for a correction, then, you know, essentially we actually want to be looking for a wave 4. Now, there's a couple of things going on in here that's also probably worth noting, and that is that this wave 3 in itself is potentially tracking as a 5-wave structure on its own, meaning that we probably haven't even finished our wave 3, meaning the wave 3 might be actually significantly higher. Okay, so we're just going to move that out of the way there for a second and I'm going to map out this one. Okay, so there's 2 different areas I can look at. I can take it from here, all here, here, and then here, and we end up with that 5-wave structure. And if that's the case, then in fact that wave 3 is not finished because there's inside here, we've got 1, 2, up here for 3, 4, and then 5. So we could be nesting out several different impulsive structures, and considering the 𝗕𝗂𝗪 hard fork is towards the latter part of September, we might start to see some of these things actually play out, which will be really interesting. So I'm going to kind of just keep this a little bit neater so we don't dive down into all those different wave counts right away. We're just going to leave it here and see how we perform. Okay, we'll be looking at turning some of these previous areas of resistance, probably around the 48-cent zone, into an area of support so that we can start to push up again. And as we start to see the fourth wave moves and the fifth wave moves, we might start to be able to ascertain whether or not we are going to create invalidations or any of that kind of good stuff. So we want to be super cautious at this point, but looking pretty positive on Cardano, where we are potentially going to be talking about that higher range up here. And the sell on the news event that probably will come at some point may actually just be our ABC correction down here, so it allows us then to have another 5 waves up later that then can wrap all of this inside an A up here, B down here, and C up there. And that there could then actually mark a really decent wave 2 area, or 88% or so correction inside our 3-wave structure of our 5-wave drop, and then have a slightly bigger 5-wave drop later. Okay, so there's a lot of things to think about, lots of different lines being drawn here. I don't expect everyone to kind of follow that exactly perfectly as to where my mind is at, but I think for the meantime, or for now, we should enjoy this kind of move to the upside. Slight volatility as expected with all that overboughtness within the market. We do look for these natural corrections, and we'll look for a little bit more to the upside before the Vasil hard fork comes in. And of course, I would expect to sell the news, and people will probably have already started to kind of sell off a little bit, and you're just seeing a little bit of FOMO. Ultimately, long term, our accumulation zones are still down here. Our macros are still very much pointing to the downside. Let me shoot on out here. You can kind of see that what we're tracking here is a 5-3. We're looking for another 5 waves down, and it could be that this is going to be really significant, where what we end up with overall is, as I said, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, and 5. And so long term, we are heading down. Our big macro trends, if you will, are to the downside. But we can definitely enjoy these micro trends when they appear. So some fantastic opportunities for Cardano. It's really good to see some green in the market for ADA out of everything. You know, it's good to see Cardano doing well. So guys, I'm going to leave this video there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead, subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Now, don't forget to join us down in Discord. We cover a lot more on Cardano down in our Discord server, so well worth checking it out. Guys, until the next one, have a fantastic day.